Psychometric theories of intelligence. Humans are incredibly intelligent beings and we rely on our intellectual abilities every day. Psychometrics is a science or a branch of clinical or applied psychology. It deals with measuring mental capacities and process. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe the channel if you are new here. Do watch other videos in this channel. Share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. What is psychometric? It is a psychological measurement. It is obtained by performing a range of psychometric tests. These tests seek to measure one's knowledge, abilities, skills, educational achievement, and personality traits. The psychometric tests are generally performed by psychometricians, who are mostly psychologists, but with specialized graduate training. The field is a mixture of psychology, analytics, statistics, and behavioral science. For example, a company might use a personality test like the Big Five Personality Traits Assessment to evaluate each candidate's personality traits. The test would provide a score for each of the 5 traits like openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The company might determine that a candidate with high scores in conscientiousness, agreeableness, and extraversion would be good fit for the managerial position. Now let's see various psychometric theories. Intelligence is a complex topic that psychologists have been studying for many years. Psychologists have offered several theories of intelligence. The theories of intelligence can be divided into two groups: those that reflect a psychometric approach to intelligence and those that represent an information processing approach. The psychometric theories of intelligence attempt to measure and quantify intelligence scientifically. According to these theories of intelligence, intelligence is a person's ability to think abstractly, solve problems, and remember information. This ability is thought to be innate and heritable and can be measured through intelligence tests. The psychometric theories of intelligence have been influential in the development of intelligence tests and the study of intelligence. Intelligence is viewed as a collection of abilities in the psychometric method. For example, students may take cognitive ability tests like the Cognitive Assessment System (CAS) to identify their cognitive strength and weakness. Based on the result, they can develop study strategies. A student who scores high on the verbal comprehension scale but low on the processing speed scale might benefit from reading comprehension exercise that focus on careful reading and analysis of text. A student who scores high on the spatial relation scale but low on the memory scale might benefit from using visual aids like mind maps or diagrams to help them remember the information or improve their memory. The first theory is the unifactor theory. Alfred Binet was the first psychologist to define intelligence. His theory is called uni or one-factor theory of intelligence. According to this theory, intelligence consists of one similar set of ability, and this ability can be used to solve any or every problem in a person's life. Binet defined intelligence as one ability. Binet also developed a test to measure intelligence. The data collected from this test created a lot of disputes when psychologists tried to analyze them. Binet defined intelligence as an ability that is influenced by a number of factors. Intelligence develops with age and can only be compared among children with similar backgrounds. The Binet-Simon intelligence scale were designed to be tested on children. Leo Terman and his colleagues at Stanford University created the Stanford-Binet intelligence scale by expanding and revising the Binet-Simon scale. The Stanford-Binet scale contains items that rely heavily on verbal ability. The Binet scales provide a single overall score. The intelligence quotient is the mental age divided by chronological age and multiplied by 100. An example of the use of this Stanford-Binet intelligence scale is in a school setting, where a teacher or a school psychologist may administer the test to a student who is struggling academically or exhibiting behavior problems. By assessing the student's cognitive abilities, the test result can help identify any intellectual or learning disabilities such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder ADHD, dyslexia or developmental delay. The result can also help inform educational intervention and support service that can help the student overcome their academic challenges. Two factors theory. The bifactorial theory consists of two fundamental parameters, the factor G and factor S. The intelligence theory of G factor was proposed by Charles Spearman. The factor G, it refers to an eminently hereditary personal characteristic, a specific property of the brain that varies from one individual to another, but remains stable over time. The G factor or the general factor is a mental operation that is common and primary to all intellectual performance. That is, the G factor is general. Then factor S, that represent the specific abilities or aptitudes of a subject in front of a certain task. That varies depending on the previous education of the person and they are not generalizable to other areas. The S factor or the specific factors are the factors that present in specific abilities. For example, excellent singers, architects and athletes are high in G factor. But in addition to that, they are also high on S factor, which helps them to excel in their respective domains. G factor test. An example of the G test is the Cattle Culture Fair Intelligence Test, which was developed by Raymond Cattell in 1940s. The test is designed to measure a person's general cognitive ability without being influenced by cultural or educational background. In the given image, you need to complete the pattern. It is an example of the Raymond Cattell's test. Next is Raven's progressive matrices test. This test consists of a series of visual puzzles in which the test taker must identify a missing pattern or element in a matrix of shapes or symbols. Next is theory of primary mental abilities. Louis Thurston in 1938 proposed a theory of primary mental abilities. This theory is not widely used today, but the theory forms the basis of many contemporary theories. It is also the basis for many group tests of intelligence. According to this theory, intelligence consists of 7 primary abilities, which are independent of one another. The following are these abilities: verbal comprehension, understanding the meaning of words, concepts, and ideas, Numerical abilities. Understanding high speed in solving mathematical problems. Spatial relations. Visualizing art and patterns. Perceptual speed. Perceiving details easily and in speed. Word fluency. Fluent in using words. Memory. Recalling information. Inductive reasoning. Deriving general rules from presented facts. Let us consider an example. The verbal comprehension section might include questions that test the participants' ability to understand written passages, while the spatial visualization section might include questions that require the participant to mentally rotate objects. The result of the test can provide insight into an individual's strength and weakness in different cognitive domains. Next is the hierarchical model of intelligence. Arthur Jensen proposed a hierarchical model of intelligence consisting of abilities operating at two levels, level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is the associative learning in which output is more or less similar to the input. Examples of level 1 learning include classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning. Level 2. It is known as cognitive competence. It involves higher order skills as they transform the input to produce an effective output. It refers to the ability to use cognitive skills and strategies to solve problems, reason, and think critically, etc. One commonly used test of decision making is the Iowa gambling task, which involves choosing between decks of cards that offer different rewards and punishments and requires the participant to learn which decks are more advantageous over time. Intellect model. J.P. Guilford proposed the structure of intellect model, which classifies intellectual traits among three dimensions. The three dimensions are operations, contents, and products. The operations refers to the mental process used to solve problems. The content refers to the type of information being processed. And products refers to the outcomes or solutions generated by the mental process. Based on this model, Guilford developed a variety of tests to measure different aspects of intelligence, including figural relations test. This test measures the ability to identify patterns and the relationship among visual stimuli such as geometric shapes. Visual imagery test. This test measures the ability to mentally manipulate visual images such as rotating an object in the mind's eye. Semantic relations test. It measures the ability to identify connection between words and concept, such as identifying the synonym of a given word. Inductive reasoning test. It measures the ability to recognize and apply patterns in information to arrive at a logical conclusion. Divergent production test. It measures the ability to generate multiple possible solutions or outcomes to a given problem or challenge. Numerical relations test. This test measures the ability to manipulate and reason with numerical information, such as performing mental arithmetic or solving math problems. Evaluative thinking test. This test measures the ability to analyze and evaluate information to arrive at a reasoned judgment or decision. One example of a visual imagery test is the mental rotation test, which is widely used assessment tool for evaluating an individual's spatial visualization abilities. The mental rotation test consists of a series of two-dimensional line drawings of three-dimensional object. The test taker is asked to mentally rotate each object and determine whether it is the same as or different from a target object. The test measures the speed and accuracy of the mental rotations. Now let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned the psychometric theories of intelligence. Psychometric theories of intelligence suggest that intelligence is a measurable construct that can be assessed through standardized tests. These theories have been used to develop various intelligence tests. We have learned what is psychometric and various psychometric theories like unifactor theory, two-factor theory, the theory of primary mental abilities, hierarchical model of intelligence, and intellect model. Hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.